they have a lot of turnover year to year, but they've still managed to be pretty successful against you guys. What is it about what they do that makes them such a difficult matchup?
Well, they're usually pretty successful against everyone. Like Ray Harper is a terrific coach. There's a reason he's won, is it 600 plus games now? And they're always talented. I think the magic for them is how well he gets them to play together on both ends of the floor, as well as being a really good tactician. They're a hard guard. Pierre's having a phenomenal year, MVP-like. So it makes it difficult for your defense because you have to make sure you solve that equation. And then they've got Mason Nichols. He's improved so much on the interior. And we had a good first half in Jacksonville, not so much in the second half because I thought we allowed some of our emotions to thwart our purpose. And that never works in any aspect of our lives, does it? So, but I got a lot of respect for Coach Harper. They broke our 45-game win streak here. Kyle Rode reminded me of that the other day. Thanks, Kyle. Shout out. And they're a good team. We should hopefully have a little bit of a rivalry now with them because of how many years we've competed against each other.
How much emphasis do you put in on the standings and trying to get a regular season title? And I mean, you're so close. It's different when you're talking back in January, but now you're just 2 weeks out from the conference tournament.
Yeah, we try not to talk about it, John. Our guys know, like, I'm not naive. They look at the standings and they know what's at stake. But man, for years, I think part of getting over yourself as a coach, especially because we all want to control things, right? Is just stay committed to being process oriented. And I know it sounds cliche, but like it really is. If that's a pursuit you can acquire on the daily, like you'll be able to look past what you're not in order to continue to build into what you are. And I just think for us, our daily communication is, let's be process driven. And here's the real, whatever the outcome is in the game on Thursday, we still have 3 regular season games left and they're all really hard. So I want to fixate on, all right, how can we be the best version of ourselves today? And so that's been our messaging, but it's been our messaging in the last decade. So I think our guys are probably used to it by now.
You mentioned Pierre's successful season, but he only had 9 against you guys last game. Would you do well against him? How do you slow him down?
He actually did a really good job of deferring. I don't think it was what was working for him. They were driving us. House got hot a little bit. Brigham hit a couple of really big baskets. He's a really good player, very underrated. And then again, offensively, I don't think we were ourselves. You can't look. Here's the real. Like you can't be a great team or a championship team if your only momentum or consistency lies on making shots. Like you got to be able to win games because you're really sound defensively as well. And I just don't think we did that in that 20 minutes. But I think it's been more the aberration for our season thus far in conference play. Look, it's a long recovery from starting out when we're 2-3, and so just to get ourselves in a position where there's however many media people here, and we have a little bit of significance on the line. I think it speaks to our guys and their commitment to trying to get better on the daily.
How much was that second half at Jacksonville State a good thing in hindsight to helping you guys understand the value of defense when the offense isn't falling and understanding the right mental and emotional engagement during that time?
Yeah, a fair question. But again, I think when you're on the wrong side of the scoreboard, and I say wrong by how most people judge it, you're always going to find the negative. Like we'll come in here and if we lose a game, hey, you shot 58% from the free throw line, and there's the reason why you lost. So I just think no matter, Dick Bennett he's such a great resource for me because he said never accept in victory what you wouldn't in defeat. So it goes back to what I talked about when We post game wrap up after in the film room after every game, win or lose. So I think yes, we learn because it stings a little bit more when you lose, right? But I just think our guys have the emotional maturity to frame it. All right, failure's learning. What can we learn from this?
The second half, you mentioned the second half of Jacksonville, but it was kind of a theme throughout a lot of the first part of Conference USA played when you were playing teams for the first time. They were kind of, switching up there in the second half. Have you seen kind of a similarity the second time you've been playing a lot of these teams, how they played you in the second half of those Conference USA games?
Fair question, Bryce. I'm not sure. You were there, John. Kennesaw and Jack State are really good teams, and they have really good coaches. So there's good coaches, great coaches throughout this league. So there's always going to be a little bit of tweaking and emphasis on what happened the first game unsuccessfully. You always address that as a coach, but I just think schematically, you can overthink it a little bit. This league is good. It's really good, and everyone says that about their league, and I'm sure there's some validity to that. But I think for us, we gotta fixate on Liberty. And don't get me wrong, we'll be prepared. We'll do our scout and stuff, but we know who we are when we're in our right identity, and that's allowed us to be competitive. So I don't think we will change much, but obviously we'll take note or heed to what we feel like we need to address or improve upon.
Both Javon and Talon have said earlier this year, defense was maybe not a high personal priority for them in years past.
Really? They admitted that?
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope I didn't-
That's true confessions right now.
How have you seen them embrace that? How have you seen them grow on the defensive end since they got here?
Yeah, we've had some really good perimeter defenders here over the years. Elijah Cuffey was elite. Joseph Vincent was a terrific defender. Javon he's quickly approaching in that same renown. He's got a uniqueness in his coachability. He whatever you ask him to do, he's gonna do. And Talon's gotten better, right? Those guys haven't been depended on because they're such elite scorers, especially at the Division II level. They maybe haven't been depended on as much to do that, to play on the defensive end. But here, you kind of got to do it. It's part of our DNA. So really proud of them at the way they progress. I still think there's more. I think there's more for all of us, individually and collectively, that we can be even better on the defensive end.
Do you feel within the players that this is becoming a rivalry with Jack State?
No, you'd have to ask them.
Your team, this program's played in a lot of big games over the past however many years, but maybe not so much for this group. Especially if you look back to last year, weren't really in the running for the regular season title. We've talked about it's a veteran group this year. Do you worry at all about maybe them putting too much into it in one game, or do you just trust them and being able to trust the process?
Yeah, John, I haven't really thought about it. I trust them, period. So, and again, I'm so far from their age, admittedly so, that I'm not sure what goes through their head. I do think they've got a maturity about them that's unique, though, and a collective intelligence and commitment that, man, you pray and you dream about in your locker room. So because of that, they've garnered, I think, trust from our entire coaching staff. I think they'll appropriate it the right way. But again, the last game was sold out. We should have a good crowd. We really need Flames Nation on Thursday and Sunday. I think all the aesthetics of it, I'm sure it'll be on their mind a little bit. They'll probably be a little less sleep the night before. But once the ball goes up, you're kind of going into your daily habits, right? So I think we'll handle it the right way. I hope we do. But I also know, look, as significant as it may be in the now and the present, when we go to Huntsville, it's not going to matter. If there's a number 8, 6, 2, whatever by our name, it doesn't matter. There's no home court advantage. I don't know what our record is in the home jerseys as opposed to the road jerseys, but if that has, Bill Smith would know, if that has any variance on the proposed outcome, I highly doubt it. So I think let's just see if we can't get better today in practice, and when Thursday hits, get better in the game at hand. Wow, easy day.